Worthing, Brighton's less known next door neighbour. Now, don't get me wrong, I love it here in Brighton. It's genuinely one of my favourite places. But on lovely, warm summer days, it can get overcrowded, especially with fellow buskers. Now, I love my fellow busking community, but when there's too many of us concentrated into one area, it makes things more difficult for us all. Typically, I find that on really busy days, I get less donations, simply because the members of the public that are carrying cash have probably already given out that cash to the first busker they saw. Oversaturated is the term that I think best sums this up. So, on Britain's hottest weekend we've had of the year so far, I headed to Worthing to escape the crowd and test whether it's best to busk in a small town or a big city. Welcome to Worthing, just a stone's throw from Brighton, quaint little seaside town with supposedly 2019's best pier in the UK. Now you might be thinking, August Radio Project, what are you doing in Worthing on the hottest day of the year? Brighton is going to be probably the busiest place in the country right now, and that is exactly why I'm here. Brighton is currently full of buskers. The competition is crazy. A weekend, hot weather, it's perfect for busking. But when there's too many buskers in one place, nobody seems to do that well, because there's too much competition. One person walks past with a coin and they'll just give it to the first busker they see. So I figure by coming here, I'll have less competition busking wise, and it's still a perfectly busy place. I actually find some of these smaller towns better to busk in. There's almost more appreciation, especially on the weekends. But I'm not saying anything bad about Brighton here. That place has my heart. Let me explain the rules for busking in Worthing. Okay, the rules for busking in Worthing. Worthing Council presents these as key points to remember RE busking. And take a deep breath, because there's a fair few. Busking sessions shall only be permitted from 10 AM until 7 PM Monday to Saturday, and from 11 AM until 7 PM on Sunday. Busking sessions should not be continuous or remain in one location, not more than half an hour. That's definitely not happening. Under no circumstances should amplification be used during weekdays. You will be asked to stop busking if you have amplified music on a weekday. Luckily for me, I was there on a Saturday. Amplified music is allowed after 10 AM on Saturdays and after 11 AM on Sundays. Buskers may not sell CDs without permission from the Worthing Borough Council Licensing Department. No structures of any sort are allowed for buskers. Street furniture such as lampposts and seating should not be used during any performances. No member of the public shall be unreasonably interrupted in their use of the highway. Buskers will not cause danger or obstructions to any member of the public or to property. We do not regulate or reserve pitches. Standard busking etiquette should be observed at all times towards other buskers. Letters of no objection should be carried at all times for inspection by police or the town centre rangers. I have no idea what the letter of no objection is. Any busker found to be abusive will have their letter of no objection withdrawn and will be reported to the police. Any busker found to be under the influence of drugs or alcohol while they are performing will have their letter of objection withdrawn and will be reported to the police. Any event that is booked into an event space will take precedence over general busking activities. Under 16s must be supervised by an adult at all times. A busker's letter of no objection only covers one busker unless otherwise noted on the letter of no objection. I don't recall seeing anything about this letter of no objection, but it was clearly okay. A letter of no objection does not guarantee a pitch or the guarantee of playing on any given day. Pitches are on a first come first served basis each day, although Worthing has regular buskers, no pitch is allocated to any busker. Your letter of no objection covers you to busk in Worthing Town Centre only. The Town Centre initiative reserves the right to ask buskers to relocate or stop performing should any complaints be received from businesses or members of the public. Oh, that is so many key points RE busking. I didn't have any problems, as you're about to see. As far as I'm concerned, Worthing seems a pretty busker friendly place. So, let me show you how I got on.
Sunday morning, man, she woke up fighting mad. It's in the morning, on and on, about the time I hit.
Spot number one. If I'm playing anywhere that is next to the sea, then I always like to begin my busk along the promenade facing the ocean.
When Thursday came around, I was all alone.
However, in this particular busk, you'll find out later on in this video that that may have been a mistake. Things started very slowly. Worse than they did in Eastbourne. I even had a lady walk past me with her fingers in her ears. And then things started to pick up, just a little. At some point I was greeted by a lovely couple from Salford who ran a voluntary radio station. They hilariously recorded some audio of me singing and a little interview and said that I'd feature on their community radio station at some point in the coming weeks, which was pretty cool.
Lockdown gonna get me down.
I do love meeting all the people I do on these busks. Yeah, there's always some great characters. I ended up playing for an hour and 20 minutes.
I gotta say that I agree.
Well, spot number one. So when I said earlier about whether these small towns were better than the big cities, like Brighton right now is full of people, but also full of buskers. My theory is that I'll do better in a small town where there's less buskers, maybe less people, because the pool of competition is smaller. But that's just a theory, right? I don't know that for fact. And that's why I'm here today in Worthing. Spot number one, it went okay. I managed to do £14 and 44 pence, which is okay. My train here costs £4.75, so you've got to minus that. So it's not the most successful, but it's not the worst. Could have got nothing. So next up, I think I'm gonna head into the town centre, do an hour in there, see what that's like. I've heard good things about the town centre, so should be good. Woo. There you go, spot two. I've sweetened the pot. Let's see how this goes. After a little bit of a disappointing start, I decided I'd head into the town centre. I set up on the square at the end of Warwick Street.
Tell us where you're from, what you want to become, we say that you're okay.
I didn't know at the time, but I was in for a real treat. The donations started within the first song, and they did not stop.
Sticker in your face, information about your case, so you know your potential.
Positive reactions all over. I had people dancing, singing, smiling. One thing I noticed about busking in Worthing is that people in Worthing love to chat.
'Cause I don't care where I belong.
I had many people come over and start talking to me.
You obviously write some of your own songs.
Yeah.
Here's one for you. Sing until the battery runs out.
Yeah. My favourite band in the world is Green Day.
Good on you, mate.
Thank
Keep
you.
it up.
Thank you so much.
So, a fantastic second set. Look, it's gone incredibly well. Snapped a string. Took it as my key to stop for some lunch. And then back to it. But this time, this round two has gone so well. Maybe my theory is working after all. Maybe I just needed to be in the town centre. So spot number two was a huge success. I guess the town centre is where it's at. Maybe the promenade isn't such a good spot here in Worthing. That was honestly so good. I did £44.97 plus whatever I made on card. I think I had 2 card tips. So it's now 3 o'clock. I think I'm gonna head back into the town, go to a slightly different area. I don't think I'll bother with another promenade. So if you're ever in Worthing, you're busking, the town centre is much better than the seafront. One thing I've noticed here in Worthing is people love talking. I've been, every time I've played a set, I've been approached at the end by by some lovely people who have lovely words to say. Maybe a bit too lovely.
You check me out and I'll look after you.
All right.
I'm waiting for a toy boy.
Yeah, there's a real friendly atmosphere here, I must admit. So, just ate some lunch, just had some oat cakes. It's time to head into town again. But I've got to restring my guitar first. Luckily, I came prepared. Always bring a spare set of strings. Always. I really hope for a third set that's similar to the second. Spot number 3 and my final set of the day. I set up in Montague Place.
Tell me something, girl.
This spot is ideal for busking. There's no roads with traffic on, it's all pedestrian, and there's streets coming in from all angles.
You need more. Is that something else you're searching for?
Just as they did in spot 2, things got off to a great start, and they didn't stop.
And all the good times I found myself longing.
Again, I had some great talks with some local folk. I also ran into Meg Hellstrip, a fellow busker based here in Brighton, who is an incredible guitar player and singer. It was actually Meg that told me that Worthing was worth checking out. It came with some high recommendations. Shout out to Meg, go follow, you won't be disappointed, I promise.
Aren't you tired trying to feel that void?
I finished spot 3 an absolute sweaty mess. I'd managed to run out of water too, so I was probably a bit dehydrated.
Oh, I'm falling.
But I managed to get around £49.60 in donations. It brought the total for the day over £100.
Okay, that's the end of the third set, and I think the final one for me. I went incredibly well again. Never ceases to amaze me how much people love this and how generous people are. Wow. I hope I'm not getting too sunburned. Occupational hazards. Thank you so much. Woo. There we go. Right, review on the train, I think.
Worthing spot 3. Wow. I have something special to say. For the first time ever in my busking career, I've made over £100 in a day. Despite that ropey start, that second and third set have topped it off so well. Maybe my theory about the small town is right, maybe my theory about the small town is wrong. My advice to anyone that comes to Worthing to busk is to stick to the town centre. But wow, over 100. I am so stoked right now. I'm celebrating by buying I've treated myself to a San Pellegrino fizzy water because I love fizzy water. It's a treat. Comment below if you think that's weird. So, are small towns better than big cities? Is it better to avoid the crowds and the oversaturation? I think if you know it's going to be super busy and there's going to be lots of buskers out, it is well worth heading to somewhere smaller, where the pool of competition isn't so large. I highly recommend Worthing if you're going to go busking. On a busy day, it's actually probably better than coming here to Brighton. But I still love you, Brighton. You still hold my heart. Thank you for watching this video. If you haven't already, maybe go check out my other busking videos. If you haven't noticed, I'm creating a bit of a series here where I go to different places and busk in them and kind of give it a review. So if you have anywhere that you'd like me to go, then maybe leave that in the comments. I'll be sure to add it to my list. Like the video, hit subscribe, turn the notifications on. I make videos every week. They come out on Mondays, and I'll see you then. Peace, love, happiness.